In our last video, we looked at how you define treatments or interventions in your JunoViewer model. In this video, we will look at how you define a budget. Defined budget can be stored and used as a constraint in your model, and this video shows you how to do that. There are two budget types you can use in JunoViewer. A categorized budget that allows you to assign a separate budget amount to each category of treatment. For example, you can have one budget that applies to seals, another to rehabilitation, and another to overlay. Then you have an uncategorized budget. It assigns a single sum constraint that applies across all treatment categories. Remember that the treatment category is defined in your DMS file under the treatments worksheet. Let's go and have a look at that. So here I'm back in my DMS file, and in our last video we looked in detail at this treatment sheet and how to define different treatments. And we pointed out that each treatment can belong to a category. Now in this case we've only got two treatments and we've also got two categories. But I could, for example, also have another seal type. I'm just going to copy that seal in there. And this seal type I will call bit rub seal, meaning a bitumen rubber seal. So I could put here in my description, I can put a longer description. But you can see these are two different treatments. This one in column B and the one in column D, but they belong to the same category. Both are seal. So if I assign a budget to the seal category, it will ensure that the combined quantities of seal and bitumen rubber seal are such that they are constrained by the budget for seals. Similarly, if I have 3 or 4 different types of rehabilitation treatment, but they all have the treatment category rehabilitation, then a categorized budget for the rehabilitation category will ensure that the total quantity of rehabilitation across all types of rehabilitation are constrained. Now let's go and look at how you define a budget in JunoViewer. So here I am in JunoViewer, and to define a budget, I go to the Data menu and I go down to Manage Model Data. Now you should see that Manage Model Data lies somewhere between Projects and ForwardWorks Program and Segment Set. If you do not see it on your menu, simply contact Londrix and ask us to enable this functionality for you. So if I open Manage Model Data, then this page opens, which allows me to manage a lot of different types of modeling data. So you can see there's, for example, a tab related to the budget, another one related to treatment cost, committed treatments, treatment target quantities, and KPI data. In this video, we are only going to focus on budget, and later on in the series, we will start looking at some of the other features, such as committed treatments. So to define a budget, ensure that you are on the Budget tab. And then initially, it may be that in your network, you don't have any budgets defined. So it may be that this is what you will see. So from here, you just click on this Download as Excel file, and that file will download for you an Excel template which shows you how to define your budget. So that's what I'm going to do now, is to just click on this button to download as Excel file. So if I open up this file, you will see that in the default template, JunoViewer creates for you two sheets, one that says categorized and another one that says uncategorized. Let's look at the uncategorized budget first. Uncategorized budget is very simple. You simply apply a budget amount for each of your modeling years. You have to ensure that there is a budget figure for each modeling year. So for example, in this budget, I've got a budget supplied for 10 modeling years. If my model is set up to run over 20 years, JunoViewer will warn you that this budget is not sufficient because it does not cover the full modeling period. So to extend the budget, all you need to do is to just drag this down. Now I've got a budget for 20 years, and I can put in my budget figures for any year in here. And in that way, I can define a single budget quite easily. To define an unconstrained budget, simply put a very high number in here, such as that. And that would act effectively as your unconstrained budget. Now let's go and look at a categorized budget. So to define a categorized budget, I use the convention as shown here in this example. I use the word budget and then a pipe delimiter and the name of the treatment category. So in our DMS file, we have two treatment categories, seal and rehabilitation. To make sure that I don't have any spelling errors, I normally would copy these names into my budget sheet. And then I would use these text values directly. So if I copy that and I place it in here, this would be the budget for my seal category. And this name I can similarly copy and put in here. And this would be my budget for rehabilitation. I don't have another category, so I can just delete this. You can add as many categories as you want, as long as your budget covers every category that is in your DMS file. So for example, in my DMS, I have two categories, seal and rehabilitation. If I provide a budget which is only covering seal, JunoViewer will warn me that the budget does not cover all of the available categories. So please ensure if you're using a categorized budget that you cover all of the available categories. All right, let's clean this file up a bit and save it, and then we can upload and import it. So I'm just going to leave these numbers as they are, but you will of course enter actual budget numbers in here. And as I said before, for an unconstrained budget, you simply enter a very large number. So I'll save this file. So recall that to upload a file to the JunoViewer server, all you need to do is go to your profile picture here, click on Upload a File, navigate on your computer to the location where the file is, select the file, and click on Open, and the file will be uploaded. Now, because that file was uploaded after I'd opened this page, I'm just going to reload this page and then make sure that I'm on the right tab, I'm on the Budget tab, and that I have selected the correct network. Now I scroll down and I go to Update or Replace Budget Data. So I scroll down to the file that I have just uploaded called Budget V1, and it asks me which sheet to use. So I can use the categorized sheet or the uncategorized sheet. I'm going to upload the categorized sheet. So I'm going to give it a version, Modeling Tutorial V1, Mod Tut V1, and I'm going to import that budget into the database. So now that it's imported, I can go down to that. I can go to this network, and if I select that budget, I will see that that budget is imported with the treatment category and the amount shown. I can also import the uncategorized budget. Again, I select that file, make sure I've got the right network selected. I scroll down, select the file, and this time I'm going to import from the uncategorized sheet, and I'll call this Mod Tutorial V1 No Cats. And once again, I can go up and select the non-category budget that I've just imported, and it will show me here that this is an uncategorized budget. So now I'm basically ready to connect this budget, any one of these two budgets, to my model setup. So to do that, I go to the settings page and I go to forecast models. And I'm going to take the model setup that I had created earlier. You'll recall I called this AA Demo Small, and I'm going to edit this setup. And this is the setup that I created earlier. And what I'm going to do now is where it says budget version, instead of saying use from DMS file, I am simply going to choose one of the budgets that I uploaded earlier, like the one mod.tut v1, which is the categorized budget. Let's see if this budget will work. So I'm going to save my changes. And I can now select this model setup and check it and run it. Now that I've run my model, I can go back to the forecast page and here is the outcome. Now notice that even though I do have a budget available now for this ForwardWorks program, and also if I go back to my DMS file, I have triggers set up already in here as defined in my previous video. However, despite having these triggers and a budget available, as you can see, no treatments have been assigned at all to any of the modeling segments in my set. Why is that? Well, the reason is that we are still running a model without any modeling type or treatment assignment mode specified. So back in the DMS file, a very important parameter which you will find on the general sheet is treatment assignment mode. And you can see that treatment assignment mode is currently still set to none. So this is a fairly important parameter, and we are going to look at this in detail in our next video and then run a real trigger model. So this video showed you how to define a budget constraint in your JunoViewer model. We showed two budget types, a categorized and an uncategorized budget. We also showed how you can attach a budget constraint to a model setup. In our next video, we will finally get to run our model with treatment assignments. If you are following along with this video series and have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact us at info@lonrix.com. Thanks for watching.